We got some not so surprising news, and I say that because Lord Stanley got dented. Yep, we're right. We're talking about a story that pretty much happens every year, Mario. Something always happens to Lord Stanley every year. Someone wins the Stanley Cup. There's been a lot of stories. Lord Stanley's gotten beaten up over the years. Um, I was just talking to Mario about this off camera before we started. At one time, the Stanley Cup ended up in Pakistan all by itself. There was another time where one of the players was drinking out of it with the beer and all that. Like some players will do that, and he ended up denting it. And he instead of taking it back to the NHL, he took it to a car garage to get it fixed so he can give it to the next player. Like people, like the players do some crazy stuff with Lord Stanley, and I'm surprised they still let them do it. It's some pretty crazy stuff. What's interesting about this, Mario, is that this actually didn't happen with a singular player. It actually happened during the parade for the Tampa Bay Lightning, who just won the Stanley Cup for the second year in a row. And Captain Steven Stamkos described it as, quote, back to Bolt, which was actually written on his shirt, which I found pretty cool, pretty creative, if you ask me. And the reason why he said back to Bolt is because just 10 months ago, they were having a parade on the same river that they won the Stanley Cup on, that they had the Stanley Cup celebration last year. So that I found that to be very, very creative. But yeah, Mario, overall, I watched a little bit of the parade. I didn't watch too much of it, only because I'm not really a fan of the team. And they were trying to huck the Stanley Cup like Tom Brady did with the Super Bowl with Vince Lombardi Trophy. They were trying to do that, but Lord Stanley is just too big. How Stanley Cup got dented is unknown. We don't know that part. But what we do know is that the cup did get sent back to Canada for it to get fixed. So I assume so the players can have it as well, and it's gonna get broken and fixed again. But yeah, I'll start off with this first because there's really not much to talk about with this. But before I do, the article is written by ESPN News Services. I'm not surprised, and like I mentioned, because something happens to Lord Stanley pretty much every single year. And fun fact, I also mentioned this to Mario off camera, something that most, if not all people don't know. The Stanley Cup that we see on TV, that's not the actual Stanley Cup. I actually watched a video about that. I'll link it in the description down below, but they actually have the real Stanley Cup in the Hall of Fame, in the Hockey Hall of Fame, wherever that is. But the real Stanley Cup is in that area. It's not actually on TV, which is pretty interesting. I wonder why they did that, but what ends up happening is if something bad were to happen in the Stanley Cup in which you can't retrieve it, they have another one literally in that building to put on TV. It's pretty confusing. It's a pretty odd story because I'm pretty sure the World Series trophy is real. I'm pretty sure Vince Lombardi's trophy is real. The NBA championship trophy is real. So it's so odd to hear Lord Stanley not being the real thing, but yet you still see it on TV. It's pretty odd. But personally, Mario, I kind of expected something like this to happen because, like I said, every year something happens to the Stanley Cup. And it's nothing against the players. They just go crazy. That's just what they do. But because the NHL has a backup one and that thing's like 100 years old and they keep on fixing it, they don't care. It's just really funny to see because a lot of the stories are absolutely hilarious. I think there was one time it ended up in Europe somewhere, and someone ended up dropping it off a bridge. Like these people, they go nuts with it. Like they really do. Like people will go insane with it. I remember there was another time where a player ended up going out to the Middle East with the Stanley Cup, and they literally met a bunch of soldiers, took a picture with it. It was pretty cool. A lot of people do some funny stuff with it. A lot of people do really cool things with it, and then a lot of people are just flat out lazy with it. You know what I mean? So. But overall, I love to hear the Lord Stanley stories because some of them are really, really funny. But with that being said, again, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning on winning the Stanley Cup. Again, you earned it. And don't go too crazy on Lord Stanley. They need that fake Stanley Cup for next year's champion.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'll say it again. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning on winning the Stanley Cup again, back to back. Yeah, as far as the other sports, see, like they're always making a new one now. So like they're making a new one to get.
Yeah, so it's more, it's authentic. But the one that you see, the Stanley Cup, they reuse it every single
year. Yeah, right. So like I mean, like if you want to count like the NFL, there's like let's see, we've been through how many Super Bowls now? About what, 55, 54?
5, yeah. The
Yeah,
56
there's
one's
been
going to
about
be made next
55
year.
Super Bowl trophies. But if you want to talk about the OG trophy, unfortunately for me, it's in Green Bay because of the first ever Super Bowl. But you talk about the world, you talk about the NBA championship, it's the same thing. You know, they keep on remaking those. But the Stanley Cup is that one championship, you know, and that's it. They don't remake it. It stays, that's the one right there. Um, but yeah, let me tell you something. These people in Tampa, they really do love to party a little too much. But nah, overall, you know, let them have fun with that trophy. Hey,
Yeah.
personally, if you ask me, like I'm not saying do this on purpose. Obviously, like you want it to be in good shape, but like when there's a dent, when there's like a dent in the trophy, in later years to come, it actually ends up making for a cool story. Like we'll never
It
forget
really
when,
does.
right? Well, like down, like years down the line, we'll never forget about that dent trophy in New England where Gronk decided to go bunt with the trophy. Like, so like that's always gonna be a hilarious story. We're never gonna forget about like Tom Brady taking the trophy and throwing it on another boat. Like we're never gonna. Same thing with the Stanley Cup though. We're never gonna forget when. First of all, we don't even know how it got dented. I would really like to know how it got dented, but overall, we don't have that information. If we do, we will definitely give you an update on that. But overall, like Stanley Cup is just a very interesting trophy, you know, because it's been around forever. It's been around for so long, you know. So many people have held that trophy, and that trophy has seen definitely a lot of things within its lifetime, you know. I think the funniest one to me, I'll never forget it, is when Ovechkin was like in his bed with his wife and the trophy. I was like, this guy. Like, but yeah, people like drink alcohol out of it. You know, some people they end up bringing it, like they'll bring it back to their hometown. You know, some people are lazy with it. Some people
Yeah.
like to have fun with it. You know, it's overall like I mean, like as long as the trophy isn't like 100% damaged, like I mean, like the stories are gonna just rack on. You know, with Lord Stanley, like you said.
And
But
if that's the case,
overall,
they have another one. But
yeah, if that's the case. Yeah.
what's interesting about the Stanley Cup, and this is something the other sports don't do, like you mentioned, they make new ones every year. What they'll do is because the Stanley Cup, like you know how tall it is, right? And like the bottom, they have like plaques. Every new champion, they'll add a plaque,
Yeah.
and they'll keep adding on to it. And when it gets filled up, they'll take all of them off and redo it, and then you know the process.
Yeah, see, that's the only thing I don't like about the Stanley Cup is the
Yeah.
fact that like some of the champions get like kind of erased off the trophy.
Yeah.
You know, but
Well,
like
they won't erase it. I think they'll. I could be wrong on this, but I think they make a whole new one to create the other plaques. So they keep
yeah.
the other ones in. Yeah, I could be
I don't
wrong
know. I
about
just
that
always
though.
wish like the Stanley Cup was like every other sport where it just kept having like, but it just kept remaking the trophy. But it's such an illustrious trophy, you know. If anything, it's probably the most valuable like trophy in sports, considering the fact that every single other trophy gets recreated every single year, and the fact that this one doesn't, it's probably one of the most valuable ones. And I think it's probably one of the coolest ones too, to be honest with you. But overall, like, I mean, hey, look, a lot of people, hey, Tampa Bay, they're really having fun with these trophies. They really are. They're really getting like a little risky with them, throwing them and stuff. Now I'm just saying, like going back to like Tom Brady, you know, if that, I'm just saying, first of all, when Tom Brady talked about throwing the trophy, he didn't even worry about it going like in the water. This dude worried about it like cutting someone, which again is, you know, it's pretty sweet, Tom, you know, that you care for people. But I'm just saying, if that trophy ended up going into the water, you're never getting that trophy back. Somebody's gonna have to go underwater and swim and bring that back up, which is again, that's a risky thing as well. And same thing with the Lightning. They were trying to chuck that trophy, but again, it's too big. You know, like you like every single time, like every single year, you know, like it seems like the NHL players can after the game can barely like put it over their head, you know. But overall, though, you know, congratulations to Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm glad that they are having fun with it. Just don't have too much fun with it to the point where like we don't have a Stanley Cup no more. You know, we don't have Stanley Cup Trophy no more. Just don't have too much fun with it, you know. But overall, keep having fun. You know, again, the dents in the trophy, it does make for some good stories later on in years. So, with that being said, you know, congratulations to Tampa Bay Lightning again. Absolutely well deserved. You know, you guys played an amazing playoffs, and again, best of luck to you guys next season.